all you need to understand the market in a nutshell. This is Deep Dive Finance by N3WS.
All right, so let's jump right in. This weekend's business and finance news, huh? Looks like we've got quite a bit to unpack from those sources you sent over. Everything from, like, some pretty crazy stock market moves to potential plant closures and even some, I guess you could say, election buzz mixed in.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Things are definitely, how do you say it, dynamic out there right now. Lots going on.
Dynamic's a good word for it. Okay, so first up, Trump Media and Technology Group, TMTG. They're making headlines. I saw their stock jumped like a crazy 20% over the weekend. Gotta imagine that's got some people talking, right?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely got people talking. You see, what's interesting is this surge, it seems to be connected to, well, former President Trump's rising betting odds in the 2024 election.
Yeah.
Basically, it means more people are putting money on him to win.
So hold on. The market's thinking a potential Trump comeback could actually be good for TMTG. Is that what we're seeing here?
Could be. It's one way to interpret it, yeah. And there was also that recent Trump rally in New York City, wasn't there? That might be adding fuel to the fire.
Right, right. I did see something about that. And actually, I think I read somewhere that his net worth is estimated to have gone up by billions, like just this month. A lot of that from TMTG stock, I bet.
You're right. Yeah, Forbes, I think it was Forbes, put the increase at something like $3.6 billion. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But even with this correlation, right, it doesn't guarantee a Trump victory, or even that TMTG will just keep climbing. The stock market, come on, the stock market, it's always changing.
Never a sure thing, that's for sure. Okay, but let's switch gears for a sec. Completely different industry. Volkswagen over in Germany. I saw reports they're considering some pretty significant layoffs, maybe even closing 3 plants. That's big, right?
It is, yeah. It's making waves for sure. Although, VW hasn't officially confirmed anything yet. It's still, I guess you could say, in the discussion phase. Nothing set in stone.
But the head of VW's Works Council, the one who represents the employees, he's already voicing some concerns, hasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And you got to think, if this actually goes through, it would be a major blow. Yeah. Not just for those workers, right? But potentially, for the German economy as a whole. And this isn't just about VW, It kind of reflects, the wider, I guess you could say, the wider upheaval in the auto industry.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole transition to electric vehicles.
Right, and hasn't Volkswagen specifically had a bit of trouble, like really gaining a strong foothold in the EV market? I feel like I've read about that.
They have, yeah. They've had some challenges, scaling up production. They haven't quite reached that same level of success as like some of their competitors. Not yet, anyway.
Interesting. Okay, so from potential job losses to a company trying to raise, billions really, our next story, Boeing. I saw they just launched like this massive share sale, aiming to bring in, get this, something like $19 billion. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, no kidding. And this move, it's likely tied to their to Boeing's recent credit downgrade, actually. They need to improve their liquidity, right? That means basically their ability to access cash quickly. So this share sale, it could be a way to address those financial concerns.
But there's another isn't there another layer to this whole thing? Because right now Boeing's also dealing with a workers' strike, right?
You got it. Yeah. That strike, it's definitely adding to their financial pressure, which might be, honestly, it might be driving this whole need for the share sale in the first place.
Hold on. So they're trying to raise all this money while simultaneously dealing with the strike that's probably costing them money, right?
Exactly. It's a bit of a complex situation over there. You could say that.
For sure. Complex is a good word for it. Okay, last but not least, we've got Ford. They're gearing up to release their Q3 earnings report. I've been seeing, honestly, a lot of analyst chatter about this one. Seems like people are watching this closely.
Analysts are definitely watching closely. You're right about that. And the general feeling, I'd say, is that Ford is, in a pretty solid position going into this report. Seems like their sales are strong and their inventory levels are, good.
I think I even saw some articles suggesting that Ford's stock could be a good buy right now, potentially, with some dividend appeal even.
Yeah, there's definitely some optimism floating around out there. But to see significant stock growth, they need to, how do they put it? They need to break through resistance levels. Think of it this way, right? Imagine their stock price has been sort of bouncing off a ceiling. Let's say, I don't know, $20 a share. Now, if their earnings are strong enough to, to really push them past that, that could signal like a real upward trend.
That's a great way to explain it. So what do you think? Are you thinking they'll break through that resistance level with these upcoming earnings? You think they've got a shot?
It's hard to say. There are always a lot of factors at play. But the overall sentiment, I'd say it's positive. But honestly, we're just going to have to wait and see. It could go either way.
When we talk about these, like, these massive companies, it's easy to, I don't know, it's easy to get like caught up in the numbers, the stock prices, all the, the headlines. But you mentioned like the impact on, on everyday people too. Can you talk a little bit more about that side of it?
It's crucial, I think, to remember that behind every one of these, these stories, there are real people.
Yeah.
Whose lives are, being affected.
Yeah.
You think about those potential layoffs at Volkswagen. That's not just like a statistic on a page, right? That's thousands of people, thousands of individuals facing uncertainty about their jobs, about their livelihoods. And the Boeing strike. That's about workers, right?
Yeah.
Workers fighting for fair wages, for benefits. And even with Ford, their success or failure, that's going to have a ripple effect, right, on their employees, on their suppliers, the communities where they operate. It's bigger than just, the bottom line.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that these aren't just like, abstract business stories in the news. They have, very, very real, human consequences for people. And for you personally, what are you watching most closely as these, as all of these stories sort of continue to unfold?
For me, honestly, I think it's about watching how these companies and others like them, how they adapt to this rapidly changing world we live in. Can they navigate, all the political uncertainties, the technological disruptions, even just the evolving demands of consumers and workers alike. The decisions they're making now, they're going to shape the landscape.
Yeah.
For years to come, it's a big deal.
Absolutely. And it's not just about, big corporations, right? It's about all of us.
Yeah.
Understanding the forces, at play,
right,
and figuring out how we all sort of thrive in this new, in this new environment. It really is. Yeah. It's a fascinating time to be following all of this. So much, I don't know, so much is kind of in flux,
Absolutely. And I think it's a good reminder, right, that we're not just passive observers in all of this. We all have I guess you could say, a role to play in shaping the future. It's not predetermined.
I like that. Yeah. All right. Well, that's a wrap, I guess. That's a wrap on this deep dive. We hope you found it insightful and thought-provoking. Until next time.